All right, hello everybody. So, we got a little bit of a different video today. I'm going to be doing a panel overview and demonstration. Now, some of you are probably looking at this and be like, what's the whole big deal behind this beat up red cabinet right here? Well, this isn't any sort of just red cabinet. This is actually something kind of special. We zoom in on this label here. This is a Simplex 4246-2 SU from 1965. This is a very old fire alarm panel. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what this thing is really all about. Bet for some of you this is probably the first time you've ever heard or seen of one of these. Let's go ahead and open this up. So this looks pretty different from your typical fire alarm panel. As you can see, there's no electronics on here. This is all relay logic, really. Relays, resistors, and a little timer. And, of course, a big red button. But you're probably wondering how this works. So, after this video is pretty much going to explain. So I've got some timestamps in the description below. So, if you want to stick around for the overview, which will probably take up a decent amount of time, you can just continue watching. But if you want to just see this thing in action, I'm going to be doing a short test at the end of the video, so you can just skip forward if you want. So I guess we'll go ahead and start off with the terminal block. We've got two EB terminals. This is your trouble bell circuit. Basically, this panel doesn't have a PAs or anything like that, so when it goes into trouble, you need to have an external bell. This relay right here and this relay right here, if there's a trouble condition, I think this one's for your pull stations. This is for the horns. And when there's a trouble on either circuit, the contacts will close, which will set off the bell circuit. You have OP and SP, that's your operational power and supervisory power. You have, pull this wire up, it's going to be hard to see, but you have, it looks like a C, but it's actually G, G1 and G2. Those are your two gong circuits, which are basically very similar to notification appliance circuits, which is what we call them nowadays. But they work a little bit different. With these older systems, they use AC horns at low voltages. So I have a 12 volt 4040 right here. And basically when you wire this up, instead of wiring it in parallel like with most modern systems, you actually wire these in a series. So you wire it up, basically you have a wire from one part going out, goes all the horns, and then the last horn, the wire will come back and go into the second terminal. I know the explanation is kind of weird. It makes more sense if it's on paper or whatever, but that's pretty much how you wire it up. You wire it up in series. And then, depending on the number of horns you have and their voltages, you have these two big resistors right here. Being this is a 4246-2, this actually has two gong circuits, which is what these two resistors are for. These right here will adjust the amount of current you have coming out of your gong circuits. Basically, you just unscrew this little ring right here, slide it over, and that'll set it to the correct voltage. So if I had three of these 12 volt horns wired up on a series, you're going to need 36 volts. So you will just take this and slide it on over to get 36 volts. And then if you ever have a circuit that goes above 120, you just go ahead and move to the second circuit. So yeah, that's pretty much how that works. And then this smaller resistor right here, this is for the supervisory for the gong circuit. Basically, depending on what you have this set to, you have to adjust this accordingly. Basically, you'll have just enough power going out to the horns where the panel sees that they're there, but it won't set the horns off. So that's where you get your supervision. Moving on, we have S1, S2, S3, S4. Those are the pull. That's the pull station circuit. It's basically a Class A circuit. S1 and S4 go out to your pull stations, and then S2 and S3 are the return. However, as you can see, when I got this panel, the Class A thing was dummied out, so it makes the panel think it's all normal, but in reality, there's really no supervision on the circuit. And for a little demonstration, setup like I have going on, it works just fine. But yeah, and then they're supervised with this resistor right here. It's a fixed resistor, but you're not dealing with different voltages and all that, so there's no need to have a variable one. A couple horn contacts right here for the bell circuits, and then we have R1, R2, and a jumper. That jumper right there is actually what creates a latching circuit on this thing. You know, with most systems, when you activate the pull station, even when you reset it, the system keeps going until you reset the system. With that jumper in there, it keeps that latching circuit. But if you pull that jumper out, as soon as you reset the pull station, the system resets automatically. So it's kind of like, almost like how you would wire up a pull station and a horn strip to a battery, where right when you reset the pull station, the whole circuit shuts off because it's not going anymore. That's basically what that does. So that's, oh, and of course you have the reset button, and then this timer right here. This is an adjustable 5-minute auto silence timer. This comes with the SU models. This is an SU model, which is pretty rare. I've never seen anything like this. I have seen a 4247 SU with one of these timers, but I haven't seen one on a 4246. Like I said, it's a 5-minute auto silence timer. You can just adjust it manually, and once the timer expires, the horns automatically silence. You can, it'll stay an alarm, of course. You'll tell these contacts are pushed down, so it stays an alarm, but the horns will stop sounding. You just have to reset and it'll all go back to normal. So that's pretty much the overview of this panel. So I guess we'll go ahead and get to the fun part, test it. Alright, so now for the testing part. I'm going to pull the 45th to 120. Horn's going to sound. It's going to run for about, I don't know, 15 seconds. It's going to be pretty loud. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and conclude this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know the test was kind of short. I kind of had to make it kind of quick because this horn was actually very loud. It's probably one of the loudest horns in my collection, honestly. Until I get myself a 4030, then, it's a whole other ball game. Actually, believe it or not, my plan was actually to have this horn on the one circuit, and I was actually going to have one of my 4037s on the other circuit. Then last minute, I kind of decided just to go with this. One, the 4037 being a flush horn, it's not going to be easy to put up on this board due to the way it mounts. And two, this thing, as you could tell, is way too loud. So there's really no need to even have a 4037. But yeah, that's just that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I have a couple more panel demos coming. So if you like this video, be sure to stay tuned. A couple of newer panels. They're still in the older category, but newer than this. It's not all relay logic, But if you're interested in this kind of stuff, stick around, and I'll see you on the next video.